Okay. Hi students. I'm hoping that this is recording now because I'm not seeing the voiceover on it, and I recorded a whole thing and there was no sound whatsoever. So let's go ahead and we're going to finish up with the incomplete metamorphosis, the hemiptera, or the true bugs. We talked about them a little bit yesterday. Variable size, oval to elongate, head piercing, piercing, sucking mouth parts, 2 pairs of wings, and hemiptera, because the wing comes halfway down their back as a hard wing, and then it's clear at the end. So it's a half wing is what hemiptera means. And there's a lot of destructive plant pests, beneficial insects in this group, and some disease-transmitting parasites in here as well. We're going to be looking at bed bugs, which feed on the blood of humans, animals, and birds. The squash bugs under the family Carididae. So these are all hemiptera orders. The choroid bugs, and these are harmful to cucurbits, fruits, and trees. The Ligaidae, so we got chinch bugs, seed bugs. They feed on seeds and plant juices of cereals and grasses and can cause serious injury. So if we look at the bed bugs first, we can see that here they have, there's very little disease transmission, but they do cause a lack of sleep in the person. Apparently, when these little guys come in and feed on you at night, they put in like a mild sedative or something in there. So basically, it doesn't, you don't feel the bite. And then, unfortunately, later on, then it becomes itchy, and it can actually cause problems for the person. Okay, I'm going to switch real quickly here to... Oh, great. Hang on. We'll get there. Okay, so here are the bed bugs, and on the left here you will see this is a bed bug that has not started to feed, and I'm trying to close this. Okay, and here is a bed bug that has been feeding for 10 minutes. Okay, it does feed on human blood. Okay, you can see that they've got a flattened oval body, and it says they swell up to the size of a blood-filled small pea. Okay, they're active at night, peak feeding between 3 and 6 a.m. So in its saliva, I said it introduced an anesthesia that keeps so the bites are painless until later. But some people get an allergic reaction. They get those splotches like I showed you on that guy's arm, and they get pretty bad. Let's just look at the life cycle real quickly here out of the book. And a bed bug can feed off of one site, one area several times, so it becomes a very big blotch, closely spaced bites. But they don't transmit any pathogens to the humans. The female bed bug lays 1 to 5 eggs daily over a period of months and puts them into tiny cracks in your sleeping quarters, which is hard to find. So here you can see we've got the adult and the egg. It hatches and goes through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stages before it becomes an adult. And if we look at the, whoops, I'll get this closer. Here are all different stages of the bed bug. We can see we've got, these have just hatched from the egg. Here's the next size, larvae, or nymph, next size, next size, next size, and an adult. Okay, and usually you'll see fecal spots of partially digested blood in the areas where they've been. They'll congregate during the day. Usually you're going to find them back in the mattress and bed frames, and pretty much, it's hard to find them, but basically they can get into suitcases and other things, so because they can be kind of hitchhikers, they've actually moved all over the place, and you can take them home from hotels. So basically, having bed bugs means that you've encountered them someplace where you've been and you brought them home, rather than you're actually a bad, you don't clean well. So basically, over the past, what should I say, the past half a century, 50 years, we kept them down with insecticides, but they say that there's a couple explanations why we've had more dramatic increase in populations. Basically, we're traveling, international travel, and people going from North America to Europe and everything, and actually traveling, moving their furniture all over the place, and changes in indoor insecticide use. There are 15 known species of the Simicidae in the United States, 92 species worldwide. Most of the other species feed on birds or bats. There's a few that also bite humans, barn swallow nests. Those bugs can actually bite people as well when they're hungry coming out of the winter. In this same family, or I should say, what was the next one that I was talking about? Let me go on here and see. Oops, wrong one. Okay, and then the next one that we're going to would be our squash bugs, or the choroid beetles. And with the squash bugs, again, when we look at them, they've got, I said choroid beetle, I meant choroid bugs. The squash bugs have the X's on their back. Again, when we look at them, we can see the hard part here with the X across their back, and the more see-through portion in the back of their wings. And they can also carry viruses in their bellies, or I should say in their saliva sacs. So, and within that, within the squash bugs, here you can see the squash bug's damage, and it can actually give a virus, or actually out of its saliva sac can transmit a virus into the squashes, as you can see here. And here are the little squash bugs after they've come out of the eggs, and so they'll be turning into adults before too long. Okay. Also with this, and I'll get out of here, along with the same ones, that wasn't what I wanted to do. We will go back, but that's okay. I'm coming over here. In that same family, we have the stink bugs. Here's a green stink bug. One of the ones that's been brought into the United States for us would be the marmorated stink bug. And here are some very immature stink bugs going around eggs here. And again, they can actually emit an odor that is very distinctive. They're not the stinkiest of everything, but it's a cyanide-based defensive fluid. So they're doing it. So if you surprise them, they'll emit this smell as a defense for them. But most of these stink bugs feed on plants. There's a few that are serious crop pests, but not very many. But most of it, what they do, they can actually do damage to the plant by their saliva as a cell-damaging plant. And most of these feed on seeds and fruits. We do have a couple. Here is the adult. This is what I wanted to show you before I showed you that other one. This is the adult of the brown marmorated stink bug. It was introduced into the United States because, and this is one of those that comes inside just like the box elder bug. This comes inside in the fall when it gets cold. The squash bug that I showed a little bit earlier, here is the mixed life stages of it. That's the one I showed the damage on from the virus. So here we've got some younger ones, the older ones, and some very smaller nymphs at that stage. Okay, so from there we are going to go back to our slides here. And the chinch bugs or seed bugs, they have a X on their back that you can see. These are going to actually, again, be sucking the juices out of the plants with their stylet. We have a western conifer seed bug that is pretty destructive. I'm trying to think. There's only 1% to 2% of these that are really, the western conifer seed bug being one of them, that are serious as far as pests. And I think the only thing I wanted to show you real quickly here before I go on with the next damage from the chinch bug would be to show you the damage from the seed bug on fruits. So here you've got, or I should say, here's a plant bug that has caused, here are where the stylet came in, and they call this cat facing. I don't know how that, is that a cat face? But that's the injury that they show, and that's basically because the plant bug has inserted its stylet there, and it has actually wounded the cells. So that was what I wanted to show you there. As far as for damage for the chinch bug and what it does, we'll go back in here. You can see what it will do to grass plants there because of the sucking of the fluids out of the plant. And it really gets established in very sunny areas, south facing, anything that's got a lot of sun. Notice the damage stops right at the tree line. So wherever the plant is a little more stressed, we will see it sucking it out. And basically the eggs, they will just be, when it gets hot and dry is when you'll see most of these symptoms occurring. So we need to control them earlier in the spring. By the time I get to this point, it's too late. I've probably got to reseed unless it's a perennial grass that can come back in. Okay, we keep in the order Hemiptera. We've already talked a little bit about some of the plant bugs. The ligus bugs feed on juices of plants. Stink bugs, again, their family name is Apenthamydidae, and that's because they have a 5-segmented antennae. The last one that we have in that family is actually a cotton stainer, and I'm trying to think of, for some reason it's not right with the other ones. I'm looking for where it is, the cotton stainer. But this was probably one of the most serious insects that we had. Actually, the boll weevil was the most serious one. But basically this comes in and it actually will be destructive to the actual cotton itself. Not anything that we have in the Pacific Northwest, so I'll kind of leave it there. I won't go search for the picture. But they prefer subtropic to tropic. And here you can see what the green plant bug looks like and the stippling on the leaves that it causes. Here's our large stink bug. That's a lenticel, so that's a pore on a fruit, and then the holes are actually clear where they have taken and stuck their stylet in. Okay. And here are your red bugs, cotton stainers, again not in the Pacific Northwest. You can see the stain that the feeding causes when the fruit is being developed. And then lace bugs pretty much just feed on the foliage of trees and shrubs. They can cause discoloration and defoliation. Here's what a lace bug looks like, and here you can see the leaves, how they are stippled with the sucking on them. And Hemiptera will include my aphids, cicadas, leafhoppers, scales, mealybugs, whiteflies, psyllids, and spittlebugs. So this is a pretty broad family group, very diverse, tiny to large, piercing, sucking mouth parts. They have short bristle-like or thread-like antennae. The wings if they are present on the insect at that time, are two membranous pairs, and in a lot of times in this family they deposit honeydew, which can serve as a disease vector, which is what the aphids do. Whoops. So I don't know why I don't have the aphids on here. Hang on a second and I'll find us a picture of aphids. And I'm getting there. Hang on. Okay, so if we look at the aphids, here we can see them feeding on plants here. They're going to be 3 to 5 millimeters in length and have a pear-shaped body. Remember, these can actually, they have two little tailpipes on the rear end, which you can see sticking up right here on some of them, and all the way through here. And those are called cornicles, and they can actually release a defense chemical and alarm pheromones when predators come around. So they come in a wide range of colors and can have different patterns. This is a woolly aphid here, and pretty much remember that the aphids can actually reproduce without mating. So if they have where the eggs actually hatch within the mother, that's called parthenogenesis. That's what you need to remember. And they have a picture right here of an aphid giving live birth to young right here. And let me see if there's anything else I want to talk about. There's so many different types of aphids, wingless and ones with wings. And they produce the honeydew, which can actually cause diseases. It says aphids are the most abundant single source of honeydew in most of the United States and Canada. And it says that there are some other insects, hemiptera, with similar feeding habits like the whiteflies, soft scales, and mealybugs that can produce honeydew as well. There's a lot of predators for aphids, so usually they aren't as serious because they actually get the predators decrease their populations quite a bit. They don't have a lot of defenses because they're soft-bodied, but they're a primary source of food for lady beetles, green lacewings, syrphid flies, and parasitic wasps. So there are a lot of predators. Okay, so I'm going to stop with that right here. I think that's the last slide on my set.